Surrounded by. I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Hello. Check 1, 2. Feel like I'm on clean feed right now. Getting ready to do it. Do the damn thing. You feel me?
Man, but listen, today we're here with a very talented on-camera and voice actor. You've heard him in countless projects, and you probably didn't realize everything from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Transformers, Hunger Games, and you've seen him as Pedro in the Paramount Plus Star Trek Picard, and now you can catch him in Griselda with Sofia Vergara.
I like that. You
We're talking about Oscar Camacho.
Appreciate
my
you,
brother.
man. My man. Yeah.
How you feeling,
Good,
man?
brother. It's a good day. It's cold and rainy out here in LA, but it's
Cold
good.
and rainy. Yeah,
but it's a good day, man. It's good to be here. Hey, y'all don't know this, but this setup is crazy. Crazy
Thank
good.
you,
Yeah,
man.
you did your damn thing, man.
Man, I'm trying to stay one step ahead of the game.
Nah, man, you're doing it. Yeah, but man, you always, since I've known you, you've always been like that. You've always had, like, even when it's your music, even when it's your acting. Like, I've seen some of your self-tapes.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks,
Thank
look,
you, bro.
your auditions look like they're ready to go. Like, it's
Thank you,
crazy. Like, just the technical aspect of it, you always have all that stuff down.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's underutilized, and like I feel like it's a lot. You can get an edge doing certain things. Like I always had this, like,
Just looks and sounds better, man.
that's
like,
what I'm saying. Like thought, even
for sure.
thought process. Like even when I did this room, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna take this seriously,
Yeah.
and other people are gonna look at it, like I gotta have my shit right, because you're competing against, like, it doesn't matter how much bigger a Joe Rogan is or any of the people we talk, Patrick Bet-David, any of these people. It doesn't matter how much bigger they are. It's landing on the same platform. Same with music.
Yeah.
It's Stevie Wonder and some guy you've never heard of
They're on
are
the same
all on
platform.
the same
They're on
platform.
Spotify, the Apple iTunes.
All vying for your
No,
attention.
you're right. I hear you. And I always get a kick out of it because you get the breakdowns like, yeah. And so, like, you know, at the end, like, they tell you on the audition, they're like, you don't have to spend money on, like, equality. And it's like, I get it. Like, yeah, you could go bare bones. But for the most part, the people that really do this, that really take this seriously, most of everybody's got, you know, they got the light, they got the floodlights, they got the tripod, they got the good camera, or they edit it properly. It just sounds, you know, sounds good. Your background is white or just like neutral, you know.
But I'm gonna tell you, my boy Gary Gray, he's done a bunch of voices. He was like Squid in Rocket Power back in the day. Been acting forever.
Rocket Power.
He's like still doing like the new Batman stuff and like works a lot. But he told me, and I never realized this. He was like, bro, every audition and everything I've ever gotten, pulls out his phone. He's like, my phone. He said, I go in my closet, I do it, I edit it in notes. And the amount he works, I was like, yo,
That's crazy.
Like, crazy.
That's rare though. That's the exception rather
anomaly.
than the rule.
Anomaly.
That's the exception rather than the rule.
Facts.
Mostly, Like if you're just like, not that people asked us, but if we were gonna give advice, one of the things would be like, invest a little bit. Like, don't go balls to the walls, but just like put some thought and effort into like your setup. You know, you want to always present yourself in the best light.
Yeah, 100%.
Even because I've seen your voiceover stuff. Like, you got a crazy studio too. Like,
well,
this guy, you got like 10 keyboards, like,
but that's
looking like Timbaland studio over there, man.
That's because, like, you know, once again,
because you care about it, so you put the time and effort into it.
And I like the art, like with the synthesizers. Like, I'm an old school synthesizer fiend, so
you got a lot, bro.
Yeah, I like the fact that also they won't make more of these. It's how some people are with cars.
Yeah,
like you're a car guy, right?
Yeah, I'm a car guy.
Yeah. See, I never got into cars like that, but with like synthesizers and with try to think like even like nostalgia, like old systems.
It's hard
to
duplicate and replicate that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the components they use aren't the same, and then these companies, like, there's not a big enough market to sell a new version of a lot of these synthesizers, because some of these were like a Jupiter 8, a Jupiter 8 that was literally like $6,000 back then, or $10,000 back then. So like now you can find them for like 30
what?
racks, and that's like damn, you got a good deal.
That's like a better return than like the S&P 500. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's insane.
That's
bro,
crazy.
if you
Somebody
go
just
buy...
gonna swap that whole thing and just wait like a couple years and just flip it for like a just crazy amount.
When I got my Juno 60, literally, it was, I want to say I paid like $1,000 for it. Like I traded in some stuff, got it for like $1,000. That's like a $3,500 keyboard now. And it will just go up because they're not making more Jupiter 60s.
That's the thing, they're not making more.
Not making more. The craziest one is this thing called the CS80. That's why I was getting confused. The Jupiter 8 and then the CS80. CS80 is it's the, you know that, what's the song with Paul McCartney? Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. So you know that, like, that
who
sound.
Who doesn't know that damn song, bro? Yeah.
You know that sound in it, that bloom, bloom.
Yeah.
That's the CS80. That thing, it weighs like, hold on. Like, the facts on this is ridiculous, but it costs so much money now. Like, they go for like 100,000.
Damn, what's it made out of?
It's
like actual materials, not just like paper and plastic.
Yeah, like, hold on, let me show you this. This
big screen and everything.
Yeah, you know, you gotta do it right, man.
Come up is real.
So this is what it looks like. It's this like massive behemoth of a keyboard. But it's like that little strip right there, like that thing. Yeah. You can like run your finger across it and it like glides notes and shit. It's like really cool. But it weighs like a ridiculous amount. Let me see. Price, it was 69. See, yeah, 6,900 when it came out.
When it came out, there's no way that.
Yeah, no. Now
on eBay you would find
124,000.
No way.
50 G's. That's not bad. That's actually like
still that's a crazy return on it, bro. Look at that. Look at
74,000.
That one.
Yeah,
75.
And it's people keeping them in
just
good
like
conditions.
In pristine condition. Yeah.
Like this one's a dream. Like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, it's a behemoth of it. And you do have like plugins that can like do all this kind of stuff now. Yeah. But it's something different.
Yeah, it's different, yeah.
Yeah. Stevie Wonder played this keyboard, like the synthesizer game's insane.
That's crazy.
Insane. Yeah.
I mean, that's why you hear so many like really popular directors that love to just like mess around with film.
Right.
It's so expensive. I don't think people realize how expensive it is to do anything on film.
Right.
But if you just imagine, like Christopher Nolan, like the last Oppenheimer was film. Oh. Remember that? So I don't know what his budget was on that, but it's crazy,
just in
man.
Editing.
Just in editing. Dude, it is so hard to work on film. It is so hard.
But then think of the quality of content.
But that's why they do it.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. There's just there's a nostalgic factor to it because it's something you grew up with. Because, I mean, we kind of grew up just on the cusp of technology. Like, right. I didn't have my first cell phone until 6th grade.
Yeah, same.
But before that, it was like word of mouth, like, go here, I'll pick you up at this time. And you just trust your parents are going to pick you up at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not texting you. Yeah, before that, I didn't have a cell phone. The Nokia, the brick Nokia, I got it in 6th grade. Snake. With the snake. Yeah. That's the reason everybody wanted that phone. The only reason.
Only reason.
Indestructible and it has snake. That's all you need. Like, you could throw it against the wall and it doesn't break.
Facts.
Yeah, but like, we didn't grow up with that. Like,
well, I always say this. It's like once again, we grew up in the same era. But imagine if we were a little older. Like, the accountability of people were different. Like, there was no, for example, I know 100%. That you show up for jobs we've worked on. I know you show up on time. You're that guy.
Yeah.
But that's even like, I text you like, yo, I'll see you in 30. Yeah, cool. Yeah, bro. Most people, you must do that at 9 o'clock. You must, hey, you still coming today? Because they're just not accountable, or they're going to show up an hour late, or they're going to, listen, back in the day, there was none of that shit.
There was none of that, bro.
Oh, I'm going to show up at 1. I left.
Hoping to prayer they show up, man. It's so crazy looking at it now, like, cause I got a little kid now, so
yeah.
Am I gonna send her to school without a phone? like I did it, like, so it can be done because I mean we're here, nothing happened to us, you know, but. Like it's having that extra like thing that makes you like I know like I can text you And if you're looking at the phone, you'll probably text me back, and it's gonna be
Right.
like that instant communication, as opposed to like dropping you off at 7, pick you up at 3.
I'll see you at 3.
Trust me, I'll be there. You know, so it's
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I go back and forth on it.
Well, it also in today's times, she can't be the only one without a phone. Like, you know, it's even think of just, because, you know, obviously I don't have kids, but I've had the thought of like, man, all the stuff I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I would like, oh, no, my kid wouldn't. But then again, you have that like stigma thing.
It's just like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like,
don't want them to feel like they're missing out on something. No,
I'm the lame kid who doesn't have a phone, because then now I'm doing stuff on my friend's phone.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. But there's also, man, like, don't you just hate going to parties and like when you see like a parent and all they do is just here, go and entertain yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not really parenting, my guy. Like, you're just kind of like, this ends up being like the nanny.
You're pacifying.
Like, you know, like, it's, mind you, it is so much harder
right.
to be their sole entertainment.
Facts.
So I understand why it's easy to just like give off the iPad or just let them go on YouTube. But it's like, man, I think we're better off for it because we grew up without it.
100%.
Like, we didn't have it until we were like going into like middle school and high school, but we used to play ball.
We remember a world without it.
Yeah,
and it was normal.
We used to play ball, like ride bikes with our friends, go to our friend's house. Yeah, you know, like that stuff that I don't.
To play the game, because we couldn't play the game.
Exactly. Now you can do it online. Be like, yo, I seen a bit Call of Duty. I'll be on that too. You know, and it's like, it's different. You know, I think I'm just getting older. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And I am having nostalgia about my childhood, and I'm hoping and praying that my little one can experience some of it, because I thought it was great. Now, mind you, she might experience and be like, this is just ass, you know, just like,
give me my iPad.
Yeah, give me my iPad, you know, be like, all right, cool, you won, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like you got to experience a world without technology for a little bit. It also it helps you appreciate the technology that we do have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it was one of the craziest things. Have you ever, of course you traveled outside of, but like, I've gone to South America recently a lot. And I can't tell you, man, how much for granted we take like Wi-Fi.
Oh, they don't have
like
it?
Yeah, but sometimes it's not stable, man.
It just don't work.
It's just, you know, you just hey man, I don't know what to tell you. You know, because I'll be at the hotels and be like, hey, it's what? Yeah. Oh, come on. It's just, you know, it's like doing its thing. I'm like, what do you mean doing its thing? Like, is there resetting? Did someone reset the router? Like,
damn.
Like, you put Wi-Fi here, it doesn't just do its thing.
Yeah, no, and if it's doing its thing, it's a problem.
It's a problem,
it's an
man.
outage
Like,
in the area.
Everybody like, what? Spectrum, what you doing? Like, what? Yeah, no, like, in a lot of places, man, it's like, they got the technology, but, you know, it's baby steps. It's baby steps. Yeah, so we take a lot of it for granted.
Mexico has that too.
Yeah, we take a lot of it for granted, man. Some of the stuff that, even just the basic stuff, man, like I went to Colombia, I want to say a year ago.
People love Colombia.
I'm Colombian, so I got an excuse. I'm not a passport bro. I'm not out here wilding with the cute Colombian women.
They be out there, bro.
They be out there, bro. They be out there.
How many of them do you think are scammers? Like, because you know we've all seen the videos.
The bros that are out there, or the women?
Well, no, the bros, they're all scammers. Most of them. But
the women know what's up, man. I mean, it's not anything different than what you see here. I mean, we know some of them.
Yeah.
Like the influencers who just would rather be involved with somebody of a certain stature and a certain tax bracket, just because obviously, you know, there's a certain lifestyle that brings that comes with. However, when you go to South America and stuff like that, you can be of a lower tax bracket,
but still higher than that.
Exactly. So that's why they go there. But the women know what's up.
Right.
The women know, for the most part, the women know what's up. And and I mean, if you get scammed over there, my guy, I mean, you kind of had it coming, bro. Yeah. You want to be a passport, bro? Go ahead. That's what comes with the territory. No knock. Look, y'all do it. Live your life. That's what you choose to do.
Listen.
Who am I to judge? Just know if you get scammed, That's part of the territory.
Comes with the game.
Yeah, that's the game.
Don't hate
that's
the player, hate the
that's
game.
the game. Look, celebrities out here getting scammed every day. It happens, bro. It happens. It's part of the game. You want to play that? That's what happens.
Yeah. And I'm always just nervous though in another country too.
Mm-hmm.
Like as somebody who's not, I'm not Colombian or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't fit in the.
You from Chicago?
I'm from Chicago.
I'm from Illinois.
So even if I'm in even if you were to put me in Africa, I'd be like, I don't really know y'all niggas like that. You know what I mean?
No,
So I'm always like sketched out by that. Like
there's
not sketched out, obviously. Like, oh damn, she's bad. But also like, I don't know anyone I can call here. And
here's the thing, man. I feel like they tell me this all the time when I go to Colombia too, because I have family over there. But I also don't go out with anybody that's not family or that I've vetted. Like when I go to Colombia, I have a driver. Like I have somebody that I contract, and I only move with that person.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
I don't care who invited me to where. If I'm going, if I made the conscious decision to go, I'm not going there without this driver. Like,
right.
Because he knows, he's like, all right, cool. This is the time we should be there. Like, we should probably be out by the so-and-so time. The reason being, we stick out, man. We stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
No matter, and it's not even like a color thing or just complexion or a language thing. It's the way we carry ourselves, the way we dress.
Yeah.
We stick out. We don't buy our clothes over there. We don't live over there. We don't carry ourselves the way they carry themselves over there. So they just hear us talk. And I'm Colombian and I speak Spanish and I'm fluent in their dialect. You know? So I and still.
But you speak it a little different.
I speak it just differently enough for somebody to be like, okay, I see what's up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like, yeah. So it's, we stick out a sore thumb. Like, if you were to go to Africa, that
off rip.
You would, you'd be like, oh, they'd be like, oh,
okay.
You'd be like, tourist, right? Right. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
That's funny.
So, and with that comes, you gotta watch yourself. You gotta be, but like anything, man, you gotta know where you're going.
100%.
Gotta know where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can get hemmed up, man. You can be in some bad situations.
I know you, and I know where you're from, so I know. Yeah, I know you know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, you told me some stories. I'm like,
why was I here?
Yeah,
what was I gonna say? What was it like growing up in Florida?
It was good, man. It's so the interesting thing about Miami, is because everybody there is either Cuban, Colombian, Venezuelan. You get to see the spectrum of the human experience of someone that looks like you.
Right.
So that's different. Like if I were to grow up, I guess we're gonna make it really racy right now.
I was gonna be like, it's like me moving to Atlanta.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not different. Like if
Yeah.
I grew up in Indiana, it'd be totally different. I'm surrounded by somebody that doesn't look like me, doesn't carry themselves like me.
Right.
Their family is not like my family at all. So that would have been different. Whereas in Miami, you see it all.
Right.
So everybody from the grocery store bagger to the politician, to the banker, to the lawyer, to the cop, they all look like me.
Right.
They all talk like me. So you kind of just see everything, and I feel it's my belief that it just instills in you a different kind of confidence because you don't grow up thinking, oh wait, but I've never seen myself in that position of power.
Right.
Like I don't
even have an archetype.
Yeah, exactly. So I could be a lawyer if I wanted to, right? There's nothing stopping me here. I could be an actor, if that's what I wanted to. I see them all the time. They look like me, they talk like me. Why can't I do it?
Damn.
And then as my worldview got bigger, as I grew up, and I want to say really like high school and then leaving to go to undergrad, I think you start to get a bigger sense of what the entire country really looks like.
Ah.
And then you kind of just know that, oh, wait, this is really just here. Yeah, this is just here.
It's the Mecca.
Yeah, for a specific reason.
Right.
And if you go everywhere else, man, I wouldn't even have to go far. Like past Broward County, like really, it looks like it's not different than like Georgia and Alabama.
Right.
Like Middle Florida. You ever been in Middle Florida?
Nah. Well, that would be what cities?
Like Orlando.
Okay, yeah,
like,
but never
even
off
go like
the...
Tallahassee or just like the ones in the middle. Like it's not. It's rural South. Like it's not anything different, man. It's rural South. Miami, South Florida is just unique because of the tourist industry.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Miami really took off because of the drug industry.
Right.
Cocaine's in the 80s, which brought in the tourism. And that's really its only, like, natural economic system. Everything else is hinged upon that because if tourists are not coming into Miami, everything else suffers.
Well, facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
So if Miami didn't have tourism, it'd be terrible. Yeah.
What do they make there?
They don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The only local economy is just tourism. There's nothing, like other states have manufacturing.
Right.
California is tech, agricultural.
Film.
Yeah. Like LA is film. LA is hyper focused on film. We felt it during the strike,
right.
Even the mayor had to get involved. Like, hey, yo, you guys are messing up a lot of the bags over here because everything's dependent on film.
Facts.
Miami is hyper dependent on tourism.
Damn.
So when that suffers, everything else suffers. Like, think about it. Every time you go to Miami, everything's kind of just based off of tourism and people having fun. You know?
It's all nightlife. It's all food,
nightlife, beaches, and
sports,
food.
beaches. Yeah.
Great people. I love it. We wouldn't be able to do what we do over there just because,
facts.
Our industry's really just hyper focused on LA. You can make a case for New York, although it looks a little bit different in New York. But yeah, we wouldn't be able to do it over there for sure.
Damn.
Yeah. So all that to say, to answer your question, it was a very unique experience, but I'm really happy I had that growing up because I can see myself, the good and the bad.
Right. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing I felt about, like, fortunately for me, it didn't affect me much because I was always working and doing stuff.
Yeah.
But in a place like Chicago, I felt like that was one thing that it lacks. You know what I mean? If you're a black kid in Chicago, there's not a ton of people to look at. It's gotten better over time, obviously, but it's not a ton of people to look at that look like you who are in multiple positions.
Gotcha.
At all.
Especially,
And the way that the city's set up, it's like not on your side of town usually. You know what I mean?
Well, Chicago, correct me if I'm wrong, like it suffered a lot from redlining too. Like when it was originally like starting to get its boom, like the city made a conscious effort to kind of keep these people here.
Yes.
Like let's build a highway to get like other groups of people from point A to point B, while this group of people just stays here and like
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I was talking to my man Dilla. He's a Chicago historian, and he was literally saying, the way what you're saying, the way they set up the city was so that they could put the dividing lines of certain neighborhoods in certain places, and because I forgot what institution he said came up with the laws, but it was like, why would they be figuring out the zoning? Like it was like one of those. Like why are they even involved?
This isn't even your job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. But it's cool to have places like that. Like that's one of the dopest things about Atlanta. Like when I first went to Atlanta, I was like, oh shit, this is cool. You see see
everything.
Every walk of a black person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got the trapper, you see the lawyers, you see the rappers, you see the, you know what I mean? You see the real estate agents, you see it's just like, oh.
I think it's important to see that.
Yeah.
I think because if you don't see that, then you just view a certain group of people in a certain light.
Right.
Like if you just see a certain group of people that are committing violence all the time, then you're gonna be wired to think that, oh, they commit that or they do that because they look like this, or this group of people this is all they do. When in reality, no, we're all just human, and humans are capable of really great things and really bad things.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, it doesn't matter what we look like, how we sound, how we speak. It's just we're human.
And the worst part is, and we're human and environment.
Yeah.
Because like you said, anything that you're surrounded by, you adapt.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Like there's no way around it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's the problem with people who only watch one side of media. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
a good point.
Especially in the
That's
news.
a good point.
If you only like, regardless if you're like Democratic, Republican, whatever, you should listen to everything.
Listen to it, yeah.
You know.
I had one of my ex-girlfriends was really like conservative.
Okay.
And her father was conservative. It was like he was pushing like, and he would just sit at his house, and I remember this so much. He had like a little chair and like a little TV booth where he would sit and then just watch his TV. And it was the craziest thing for me because I'm like, bro, I've never seen this, bro. If you watch TV, you're in the living room, you know, or like you're in the kitchen or like somewhere like wide open, you know? No, he was like sitting on a chair and a booth. And at the time, Bill Riley was like, his like go-to, like he would never miss that. I don't even know what time slot it was. It must have been like the 5
O'Reilly
o'clock.
Factor.
The O'Reilly Factor at 5 o'clock on 5 News, on Fox News. And he would never miss it. But he also told me something really, really important. He's like, it's always important. Because he told me this because he felt like I was hesitant to like take part in that. And so I guess his like olive branch was just kind of saying to me, hey, it's really important to know what the other side is saying. He's like, you might not agree with it. He's like, I don't agree with everything he's saying, but I listen.
Damn.
And I was like, I kind of see the value in that, because if you just listen to everything that you think or you just believe, you're just feeding yourself everything.
Right.
And of course it feels good to like, cause then you're just, everything is like, yeah, okay, I'm right. Yeah, you're just reinforcing everything positive. Like, oh yeah, of course you say that.
Because that's how it works.
Because that's how it works, and that's what I think. And because if I think it, that's exactly how it works.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's
that's not reality.
That's not reality. Like, reality is a lot more nuanced than that, and I'll never forget it. To your point, yeah, it's always good to get a little bit of the other side, just to see
it's perspective,
just to see what they talk about, just to see what they're saying. You know, and
then you can understand the lies that you're being told, because it's almost like asking 3 different people a story. You know, then all of a sudden
their side,
this is gonna add up
somewhere in between.
And then what?
No, that's an interesting dichotomy there. That I feel like we're taught just to listen to one side, whether it be red or whether it be blue in this country. You know, you just kind of grew up listening to one side, and then when you listen to the other side, you're just like, oh, okay. You're just like, I kind of see where you're coming from.
But that's also because you're like, that's a sensible human being's perspective. Most human beings are like, no, I picked a side when I was born.
Okay, I hear you. How about this though? I hear that a lot though too, man, but I tend to understand that, especially from lower income society. Yeah. Man, because like a lot of people just live in terrible conditions, man. Like, well, if we do, let's say we do a voiceover together. Right. We make X amount. Right. What we make there and what we make on the back end, they've never seen in their life. Right. So I get it. I don't agree with what you're saying, and I don't agree with your mentality, but I totally understand why you would feel like the system is rigged specifically against you. Right. Even though it's not, for the most part, it's not against you specifically. Like, it's just kind of like rigged for the upper class, but that they're not even thinking about you, man. Facts. Yeah. Like, but I understand how that just like anger turns into
Well, because it's out of your control. Like 100%, like in
100%.
There are certain things that are within your control, obviously, but a lot of that shit's just out of your control. You can't control where you're born.
When you hear about people that are like were born and they have like families, like multiple generations of men that have worked in the minefields,
right, yeah,
and all of a sudden one day technology was just like, hey, we kind of don't really need coal because it's really just, one, bad for the environment, and two, it's not as effective as everything else. Like the amount of time and effort it takes us to dig rocks out of the ground and then burn those rocks for it to become like a fume for it to propel the propellers and the turbines, which then create electricity, which is what we need. That's not, we rather just do natural gas and like gasoline. Right. Like that's way more efficient than like this like tedious, like hard labor work. All of a sudden it's just gone. Like their whole town has just been decimated. There is nothing else there to replace it. And these are like generations of people that like, my dad worked there and then he passed that job on to me. And when they were working, it was like good jobs for that area. Like life is not expensive. Like in our terms, it's not expensive to live in West Virginia.
No.
Like it's cheap.
Like, if you have a good job with some benefits,
you're good.
You're good.
You're good. You literally want nothing else in life.
Yeah.
Great. And then all of a sudden it's like, just cut. I understand.
Yeah.
Now, I also understand that, hey, man, technology passed you by and you should have figured things out. You know, you probably should have, like...
I always say this. I think of, like, the people who, the grocery baggers and the things like that. All I know is the day I would have been there, coming in, do this fucking shift.
Yeah.
The day I would have seen, what's those? Oh, those are self-checkout machines.
I
would have thought to myself.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap.
Maybe I should start looking into some other options of things I can do with my life, because I don't think
that hourly wage is about to be gone. Gone.
Like, why would you do it? Like, I was telling my dad this the other day. He was like, man, it's so nice when I go to when you go to the store now, if you can't find something like Costco or Sam's Club, so they got these people in the aisles. They'll just they'll look it up. They got like these iPads. They'll look it up, and I was like, right. But now we're paying a person to look something up on an iPad who should already know where it's at because you work here.
Yeah.
So when they start cutting those jobs and then just start having large iPads for you to just click on yourself, who can we blame here?
I mean, and it's gonna. I mean, at least I think in our lifetime it's gonna impact us too. Like just the invention and then the onslaught of AI.
Oh yeah.
Like it's gonna affect us. I don't know if it's gonna like take us out of a job like everybody thinks. Maybe, maybe not. But it's definitely gonna have an impact.
Yeah. Oh, it will.
And so you kind of be like you'd kind of have to be just like silly to not think it's gonna like impact you. And if it impacts you, it's probably impacting your bottom line.
And welcome to the Surrounded by Idiots podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Because listen, you don't know. You don't know, but I know when I see a motherfucker singing like with some auto-tune, and then he sounds like Post Malone.
But that's why it's so important to know about history. Because if you know what happened to them in West Virginia and Appalachia, like it's gonna happen to us. You think Google is gonna want to pay employees?
No.
When they can have an AI do most of their data research for them eventually?
Think about accounting. Why would we need whole accounting departments? You have one guy who checks, or not one guy, maybe like a team of 5 in a large company. And they check all the AI's work. Man, that's it.
That's it. There's gonna be some human element for sure as a backstop and just to make sure everything's functioning properly. But the whole department's not gonna be y'all.
You know where the jobs are gonna be in the future? Fixing the technology.
Maintenance.
AI maintenance.
AI maintenance.
That's gonna be.
I had a thought though too, and I had this thought like a couple months back. What about like actual land?
Actual land?
Yeah. So like real estate. Like if you're one of those like real estate guys, like a big real estate mogul, how's AI gonna impact you?
Well,
Like, because you can't create anything that's not there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you're competing against AI, like in the marketplace.
yeah. Well, it almost would be. I think it would be more people starting to go, why do I need this real estate guy?
Yeah.
There would be like almost, because think if it was like AI service realtor,
Yeah.
right, or something like that.
Yeah.
You type in what you want, you give it prompts,
A la carte.
it finds all the all the things. Maybe it's a subscription based. People love the subscription.
Yeah.
And then you go from that.
And I think this is just me like shooting at the dark, but I feel like if you had the means and the funds for it, you should probably just try to like buy as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like real estate, land, develop it if you want to, like if you have the time and effort for it.
Right.
Because I don't know that.
What they say, God's not making any more land.
Yeah.
That's the one thing he ain't making no more.
Yeah, it's not. You can't create more of it. It's a finite resource.
Yeah.
There's only but so much of it.
Didn't you hear about there's like those companies like BlackRock and all that? They were trying to like buy up everything.
Yes, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So the argument in favor, or the people that don't sound the alarm on it, they're just like, it's not a big deal. The argument is, hey, it's only like but a small percentage of the total housing market that they own. It's like in the low digits, like less than 10%.
But I mean,
however,
now.
Exactly, but that's where my brain goes.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, yeah, but that's like now. Like there's literally nothing stopping them from being like, oh, I mean, why don't we just like double this to like 20%?
Yes, it's easy.
And then by then it's already like the cat's out of the bag.
Well, okay. Everybody works for very few corporations. This is where I think we're headed. Unless like you really have your finances in order and have figured it out. And maybe not quite in our generation. It'll start when we're headed out.
Yeah.
But we all work for corporations. Like, what is it? Like a big 3-4 corporations anyway, in the scheme of things. You know what I mean?
Scheme of things,
yeah, they're all just like offsets of these things.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't a company like an Amazon, and this is one of the smaller in the scheme of things, an Amazon, have just like Amazon housing? Your employees, it sounds like one of those movies where it's like, welcome to Amazon. As an employee, we let you live here in our residences.
You know what's interesting about that? So they already do that in commercial real estate because they need to, because it's part of their business model, because they need warehouses, And so
what you mean?
Like Amazon needs warehouses.
Oh, right.
So they already, I don't know if they buy commercial real estate, but I know they lease it. So I actually have a friend who's an engineer, and he is contracted by Amazon and other companies like Apple to go out into different markets. Like he was recently in LA, and I think he went to like a warehouse down in like Hawthorne.
Oh, okay.
And his job is just to be like, look at the property, assess the value of it, and let Amazon know, hey, this is how much it's going to cost you to fix it up so that you can use it. That's not anything different than what you do when you buy a home.
Yeah.
You literally pay somebody to go to the house to inspect it. Hey, the plumbing is kind of like shit. You're going to have to fix the plumbing down the road. Oh, the roof might need like a change of tiles, like you might need to fix that. Let you know, hey, this is how much it's going to kind of like cost you. These are some fixer-uppers, and then you decide if you want to buy it or not.
Right.
So they already do that with leasing. I don't think it's going to be too different for them when they're going to be buying stuff.
And that's what I'm getting at. And not only that, you can absorb. Come on, you think Amazon can't buy the fucking Ava?
Of course, man.
You know what I mean? You think Amazon can't, and we're talking Amazon. We're not talking Apple. Oh, you have an iPhone or Android, and now you walk into your Android home and your Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like, bro, because also that allows them to buy all the land. You lease it from us.
And everything's going to be on subscription model, too.
Yep, and we can put everything, and then we can put people on top of each other.
You're never going to own anything.
Never. That's gonna be out the window.
Happens in music. Like, you know this.
Yeah.
Because we've had this conversation before. Like, when people like download music off of the iTunes store,
Yeah.
you don't really own it.
You don't have it.
When you download on the, because there's a premium plan on Spotify where you just download the music, you don't really own it.
Yeah, no, it's just
they can
accessible
take it away
offline.
Yeah, they can take it away. Like if like a label has a dispute with the artist about the rights, gone. Like that song will not be there until they resolve that issue. It's gone.
No, before you had the MP3 file. That's literally why if there's anything good, I'm not gonna say any names, but there's downloaders out there, people, where you can put in the links and download the tracks.
For sure.
And it's good.
Yeah.
Because, or buy the track. But see, that's the thing. There's no iTunes anymore. There's nowhere to buy it.
There's nowhere to buy it anymore. And it's so hard to buy a physical copy because
you gotta go buy a CD.
Yeah, I don't even know what a CD is. Yeah, you can't even
Adele
buy.
got CDs. It's only like the biggest artists in the world now who have CDs. Like you have to be like moving units.
Didn't Tyler just had like a milestone he reached because his fan base sold the most amount of the bigger ones.
Oh,
records.
Yeah,
the records. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a lot more money because that's a physical copy of something and
the pressing it cost. Listen, I at one point was gonna get like some cool like vinyl done of like some stuff I did. I got those estimates. I was like, maybe we'll wait. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
Yeah. It's hard, man, because the digital it's so hard to get ownership of a digital asset.
Mm-hmm.
Like even just as a creator. Like, this, like, you're a producer, like, you produce music.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all know this, but he's a producer, too. How hard is, like, you're dealing with splits all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, well, it's usually, if you're working with cool people, it's just, like, you split it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless you're working for an artist who's like, well, obviously, they get whatever, and then it's... But when you're doing your own stuff, yeah, it can be a pain. But, they have, like, apps for that now. And
technology
bro
makes it easier, makes life a little bit easier, but it also, man, there's just
what are we gonna do as far as like physical work? Like we're getting all so like good with technology and all these things, but like what happens when? Have you seen that South Park episode?
Which one?
It's or not episode. It's the newer movie. It's about the what was it called? What was that one called? Not the Panderverse. Yeah, the Panderverse.
Panderverse. No, I don't think
okay. It's a really funny one. But one of the things was the father, Stan, was like, people don't know how to do shit anymore. So he was like, get downstairs. I'm gonna show you how to change. He was like, I'm gonna show you how to change the oven door. He gets downstairs and he's like, what you do is you call the handyman. And so then in the episode, the handyman ends up being like Elon Musk, like the handyman and everything, because they know how to do shit.
I saw an article once that a lot of these giant tech companies are kind of in favor of a basic universal income because in their opinion, and they probably have more data to back this up than I do, but in their opinion, as a society, we're moving towards hey, automation is kind of going to do everything that we need it to do. So that means you're not going to do anything, or if you are doing something, it is going to be very minimum.
Right.
Then how are you going to pay for everything else? So you're going to have a universal basic income.
And what skills will you have that are valuable? That's the scary thought.
Yeah.
Like, what you remember, you've seen WALL-E, right? When they're all on that ship and they're all fed and
just turn around, it's like huge, yeah.
Bro, that's what it is. Like, because I think that's the other part of it too. Like, seeing the way people, the get up and go. It's like you're a hustler. You work hard. I can see it because there's things you have to do to be as efficient and work at the level that you do. Mm-hmm. When that's automated for everybody, what's going to set people apart? That's the question.
Yeah, who fuck knows, man. I mean, there's definitely going to be a future where, like, everything's just going to be easier. 100%. Like it's already like life is so much easier already than what it was.
Yeah, we're
when I was
saying
a
that
kid,
now.
yeah.
Think of the 1800s.
Yeah.
though. Like life is way easier.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Like they were dying off of like plague.
Yeah.
And that's just like a infestation that was caused because there was too many rats around. Like if y'all would just have like a decent pest control, literally just call like the local pest control and like half of the population wouldn't have died.
Yeah, but like you got the dead horses, you had people throwing like you had the
Crazy.
what were the things called? The chamber pots, and then people just throwing the shit out the window. Like, could you imagine just like
life expectancy back then was something ridiculous.
I want
like it was
in the 1800s.
Yeah, like life expectancy wasn't like we'd be old. Like we would be old right now.
Oh yeah, we definitely are over the halfway point.
100%.
Oh, 40 years.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, nice. Oh,
right there.
I got a nice 8 years.
Yeah, we right there. I got a decade left, man. That's about it. It's like what?
That's why people were like, "Fuck."
It's crazy.
They were out here.
Just
also
fighting with swords. Dude, you know how messed up it is to like get a paper cut and you die because of the infection of a paper cut? Like that's some wild stuff right there, man. Think about that.
No penicillin.
Nothing, bro. Hope and a prayer. Thoughts and prayers. That's all you get. Like actual thoughts and prayers.
That would suck.
That's crazy,
man.
That
was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, think how many people who were like gonna accomplish something great.
Gone.
Off of tuberculosis.
Syphilis.
Like something just, but you've seen those syphilis pictures, right?
Crazy.
Where like the people have the holes in their head. And
what's that other one that makes you look crazy? Oh man.
Al Capone died of syphilis.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Man, I forget. The one that you end up looking like a zombie.
What's that one?
Man, I don't know. I'm blanking on it.
It's a sex disease?
No, it's like it's caused by a bacteria, literally like a bacterial infection.
Leprosy.
Literally
Yeah,
like a bacterial infection that
it's
treated like if you just take like penicillin or some shit like that, you'd be alright.
Leprosy was
but like it was rampant, bro, rampant, and it didn't matter. Kings were dying from leprosy. Like, dude, like back in the day, like in the Crusaders, King Baldwin, like the young king. There was a movie about this, Kingdom of Heaven, with Orlando Bloom.
Oh, that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Oh.
The king, I think he died at like 24 years old. 24 from leprosy. And his like nephew, who was the next king, he died at like 12 or something like that, because he also got leprosy. It's so wild. Like I love when people are like, "Oh, I would love to live back in the day." It's like, no, you won't.
No, not like
you would
that.
die.
No,
you would literally die.
Also, it was disgusting. Like, did you see like the old? I saw a picture of like how they used to do in the Roman Coliseum or something. Like how they used to have like the toilets, but it was like you sat right next. Like, bro, it was like a sitting on a bench. But we're just
shit, bro.
I was just like, and then it's not going anywhere, right? Like it's
just that place. Musty.
Musty.
And
everyone
one of the great wonders of the world, just musty.
Yeah. People weren't showering
People
bro. Now don't shower every day. Like, let's be real. Like on lazy days, people aren't showering most people are not showering every day.
Sick people in this world.
So in that era,
they fit right in.
And also think, like you were saying too, like if you got a cut or you got something that was infected, you walked it off. There's nothing of science.
I've heard an argument once that the Roman Empire was really collapsed because of their lack of hygiene.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that argument made before. Because their sewer system was just not up to par because it was so big and so many people.
Right.
And obviously when you have like any city, like you have to have proper sanitation, proper like waste management. They didn't have that. Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Back then, obviously. It's hard now. People don't get it right now.
They created the fucking aqueducts and stuff, but I guess that...
It just wasn't enough. It was too many people. It overloaded the system, and then like there was too many rampant diseases going around, and like everybody was dying left and right, and that's what led to the collapse of the Roman Empire. That's also, what I've heard.
No, well, I can see that as a piece, and then I can see there was a lot of infighting too. Because, bro, the territory that they had.
So big.
Bro, it was like
So
all the
big.
way to like Pakistan.
Yeah.
Like it was like what the fuck?
It's so
Like
big.
you guys had everything.
So
So there's no way in theory.
You can keep control of all of that.
Yeah, no. And then you put people in place to try to like no, but then they're gonna be like, well, I
What
want
they
more
call it,
power.
like regents and stuff like
Yeah.
that. No, that's
Nah,
yeah.
it didn't work.
Yeah. But yeah, man, just shower.
Shower.
That's all we can say.
It
just
wasn't
shower.
that simple back then. Man, they talk about leprosy a lot in the Bible too. Leprosy was busting it back.
Crazy, rampant,
Let me
bro.
look-
People
I don't
wild
even know how
out
to
with
spell
leprosy,
that.
man. It's crazy though. Have you seen pictures of it?
Yeah, I'm
You
about to
really
look it
do
up.
end up looking
Leprosy.
like a zombie for sure, 100%.
This is I'm butchering how to spell this. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Leprosy.
Leprosy.
Now they got
Yeah.
these updated images. I want to see some 1800s images.
Go ahead, show us.
No, they got this.
But
Leprosy.
see the
Bumps
homeboy
on
right there.
skin.
He's got the mild case.
Yeah, yeah.
That's mild case right there, buddy.
just on his
That's
hand.
like you good.
Leprosy.
You good with a trip to CVS. You good.
Leprosy 1800s.
Go
It was
to
in
images. You gotta show
1873 over
images.
the Norwegian saw the leprosy under the microscope and proved that leprosy was an infection. 1873 was the first time they saw it under the microscope. Oh man.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Which one? Why is it not showing?
Homegirl right there. Canada's
Oh.
history.
Right? Oh.
Yeah, nah, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's different. That's not a trip to CVS. You gotta go see Dr. Miami. You gotta go see everybody.
So wait,
for
so
that.
and then after that your face was I guess
Well, you died.
You died.
You died.
Yeah.
You died.
Hold on, why are they not showing these? View image. Oh boy!
There you go.
Leprosy in Louisiana. Jesus Christ.
Crazy, man. Be dying.
These are tough images.
Yeah.
Yep, that's leprosy.
Life
ladies and
expectancy 48.
gentlemen. Damn.
That's it, brother.
I mean, it's a
It's gone.
time. It's what a time to be
What a
alive.
time to be alive.
If you were.
What a time.
Man.
Be alive.
So how did you get started in acting? Did anybody in your family act or?
Man, you were a child actor too, right?
Yeah.
So I started as a child actor. This is funny, dude. I'm gonna be hella embarrassed right now. There's a variety show that was super popular in the 90s, early 2000s on Spanish television network. And it was called Giant Saturday. And what it was is this really just genius of a man, a Chilean like host created this Saturday night show where it would be a mix of game shows, live interviews, live music, and just like anything entertaining or like random news of the day. And it was, I kid you not, this show on Saturday lasted for like 4 hours. It was a 4-hour show.
Oh wow.
Every Saturday it would be on Univision, which is one of the,
Yeah.
it's the giant Spanish network in the United States. Yeah. And in this show, he had a segment that was called The Kids, El Segmento de Niños. Yeah, the segment for kids, or the segment of kids is the actual translation.
Okay.
And really, it was a really brilliant setup because like what he was doing with the segment was just having a bunch of kids that say the darnest things.
Right.
And so he would have a round table of kids and he would just ask them like, hey, what do you think about like Joe Biden? You know, like it would be the equivalent of that.
Right.
And like the kids don't know anything, but he would pick kids that were spunky, were like good improvisers, or just were like out there and like had energy, and they would just say the craziest things, and that would be funny.
Right.
Because like as an audience, you're just like, oh, so the kid's cute. Like he doesn't know what he's doing, but look how crazy he's talking about
Still
it.
works today.
Yeah, it still works today. And I was one of those kids. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was one of those kids. You can definitely YouTube it up.
Oh, I need to see this.
Yeah.
Then.
And so I remember, man, one of my mom's friends who worked at the Spanish network at the time suggested that, hey, like Oscar's kind of like very spunky, like God knows what she saw in me. Like honestly, like I was 3 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was 3 years old, so I don't remember exactly how it went down, but I remember she's like, Oscar should audition to be on that segment. You know, I can get him an audition. And I auditioned, and I met this producer, the producer of the segment, because the show was so big, each segment had a producer. So the producer for that segment is a wonderful woman who I love to this day called Maiten Montenegro. And she produced that segment, and I auditioned for her. And she's like, she auditioned. She's like, yeah, you know what? He's like really exactly what we're looking for. So she gave me a shot and put me on the segment. And from there, I went into her acting and dance school. So she was a producer, but she also was a fan of the arts. And she herself was also a performer. So, and the reason she knew the host of the show, whose name is Don Francisco, they've been working together from Chile. So they had this show in Chile in South America, and it was such a big hit that he was like, oh, I could do this anywhere. I might as well do it in America, where I could just get rich. And it worked. And
he did.
And he brought her with her, and that's how she ended up there. But she was a performer back in her native Chile. She was one of the most popular like sketch artists and just like improv actors of her time. And so she always had the love of the art. And so to kind of like fuel that love, she created just like a dance and acting academy for kids.
That's amazing.
To kind of like pass that down. And so I ended up going to that dance and acting academy, and that's how I started with acting and kind of just like fell in love. It's, you know, it's crazy looking back at it now, because I started in comedy. And I'm like, when I go out for comedies now, I'm just like, oh, God. You know, I'm just like, oh, God.
You think that just came with age, though? Being more aware of what you're doing?
Maybe. Like there's definitely like a self-awareness aspect to it. Yeah. For sure. Although I will say comedy is a lot harder than people give it credit for.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it is so much easier, not easy, easier to make somebody feel something like emotionally as opposed to making somebody laugh.
Yeah. No, I agree
like it is so hard to make people laugh.
Yeah,
because like when they know they're like, hey, I'm here to laugh. It is so much harder to do that. Yeah. Yeah. But the great ones do it, you know? Yeah.
Because that really works on beats.
Yeah.
Like if your timing is off, it's just not gonna work.
There's so many ways to go about it, but it all comes down to timing and delivery. Like if you got those two things, you can do it. You're great. You're great. But it's so much harder to be a great comedic actor. The reason I think I drifted away from comedy, I think, is because there is something in me, I think it might have just been my upbringing or something like that. I just like seriousness. I like stillness. I love seeing that in other work. Okay. You know, so that's something that I just, as a human, gravitate towards. And so I love doing that kind of stuff. But I started off in comedy, man, just making a grown man laugh by saying the darndest things. Darndest things. Yeah, it's crazy. And then that segment actually evolved into like a news room. It would be we would have like the reporters and the host.
As kids like
dressing up. And then we would send it out to the correspondent, and it would be me dressed up like as a farmer or like as a grown adult, and we're just having like kids news. Yeah, so it was like sketch comedy in that way, but that's what it evolved to, and that's how I started off. And then eventually I got into like more of the Anglo market, which would be commercials, voiceovers like that. I still remember my first commercial, actually. My first commercial was, if I'm not mistaken, it was a back-to-school special commercial for Kmart. Yeah.
Wait, how old were you?
Dude, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you was doing the commercial runs as a kid?
Yeah,
and stuff too.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because back in the day, and I think it's still the case now, you could still get a lot of commercial work in Miami for the Spanish market. They would,
makes sense.
yeah. So, like the back to school specials and stuff like that, they would need like Spanish commercials, and you can book some of that stuff.
That's great. So your mom would just drive you to the auditions?
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. Yeah, I remember doing a Super Soaker commercials. You remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know that was a fun one.
Yeah, and so I did that until, I mean, I kind of did it all through like growing up in my childhood, like commercials and stuff like that, and voiceovers as well. And then there was like a little bit of a lull in middle school because I kind of just wanted
Me too.
to be normal.
Yeah.
You know?
But I feel like middle school also comes with you might have wanted to be normal, but it also comes with like usually you got to figure that area out.
Yeah.
Like the kids you're not young and cute but you're not quite old enough and you're in your awkward
phased out of it,
yeah.
You phased out of it. So thinking back on it now, I think you're right. It's twofold. So I also had a desire to kind of just like let that go. But also, like, even if I didn't have that desire, the market would have been like, "Hey, come back to us when you're actual teen, and we can use you as a teen." That in between, there's no market for that. They can't use you for anything. So I think there's definitely, to your point, there's something to that. And then I'll never forget, my mom has always worked in media.
Oh, okay.
So she used to work at a radio station back when radio stations were like a thing to work on, you know. And she knew a sound engineer who's a really good friend of the family. And I started like to mess around with like the board, like, and then one day he's like, "Hey man, like, what do you want to do when you grow up?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, I would love to like be like a sound engineer. This sounds cool. Like, you know, like just work on the boards, like click the button, like you know, be part of it." He's like, "Nah, man, you don't want to do this. It's whack. Like, you should be doing, like, what you were doing, like, acting. Like, that's the thing." And I'm like, I don't know why, but it clicked.
Right.
It clicked. And I was like, yeah, he's right. I was like, all right, let's go. And I never looked back since. Everything I've ever done in my life that has led me up to this point can be traced back to that moment where I was like, all right, cool. All gas, no brakes.
Right.
I don't know if that's for everyone. You know, to be honest, everybody's situation is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said. I once heard, because I'm a big Heat fan.
Okay.
I once heard the story of Pat Riley when he was talking to the Heats, when they were trying to win their first championship with LeBron. And one of his locker room speeches were, not with LeBron. Or it might have been with LeBron one of his locker room speeches was like, burn the boats. And what that means is, we've come all this way on this boat. We've gotten to land. Burn this boat. Meaning there's no going back.
Right.
You either make it happen or you die. That's it. There is no plan B.
I feel you. Right.
And I've always, man, I don't know. I want to hedge my bet and say that's not smart. But here I am. And I feel like most of us that have and by here, I mean just making living in this crazy industry. Like, we pay our bills with this. This is how we live. We don't do anything else. We don't bartend. We don't. Not that that's anything to be frowned upon. You know, you do what you got to do to survive. But we don't do that now at this point in our lives. You know, everything that we have, everything that we pay, everything that we have is because of our creative job. You know, acting, voiceover, you know, music. Yeah. This is how we sustain ourselves. That's what I mean by that. And so everything that has led me up to this point can be traced to that, like, I want to say it was just like a kid mentality who didn't know any better, who was like, yeah, okay, if I put all my effort into it and all my energy and I don't have a plan B and I can't go back, yeah, I'll make it for sure. Dude, who's to say that's not the smartest thing? Like, I don't know.
Everyone I know who works in this industry or works in industries like that, that's their attitude, including myself. Because
I think there has to be a little bit of that.
Yeah, because if you don't, okay, let's just say you're like, no, I have a plan. There have been people. I have a plan B. Well, when things get slow,
do it.
You go do it.
Yeah.
And there lies the issue.
Yeah.
Somebody who's like, look, man, I don't know how to do shit else. I put all my time into this. This is what I do.
This is what I do.
They're going to sometimes hustle twice as hard because they know that I have to find opportunities in this environment. If I don't find them in this environment, I'm not going to find them anywhere.
Yeah. That's definitely a through line, I feel like.
But if I can be an accountant, I might go be an accountant.
Man, you know what? It's so hard. Like, this industry starting off is so hard.
Yeah.
Like, it is, I mean, even on our level, it's still hard to a certain extent. But, like, I look back and at my journey, like, and I'm like, I don't know how I survived that moment in my life.
Right.
Like, it's just like, I was living off of scraps, like, but I made it work. But, like, you kind of just make it work because you know there is no plan B.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think
they said that's why Travis Barker tattooed himself from the neck down. It's like, I never want to be able to get a regular job. It's like, I wanted this drumming thing to work out. And
there's something to that, man. There's something to that level of dedication.
Mm-hmm.
That, first of all, I salute. And second of all, yeah, that may not be the reason why he made it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a part of it.
Oh, it's a part of it.
It's definitely,
because
like,
there's
how
no turning back.
There is
like,
no, yeah.
Like you said, burn the boats.
Burn
like
the boats, that's it, man.
Sick.
Yeah, I know a lot of, like, I go back to my alma mater sometimes and I talk to the upcoming class. And a lot of the times, like, I tell them, man, if you can actually see yourself doing something else in this world that you enjoy, go ahead and do it, bro. Because 9 times out of 10, you gonna have a bumpy ride.
Oh yeah.
Every now and then, somebody will come out straight out of school and book like a series regular. Cool, great for you.
But then also, that's still that smooth in the beginning. Then it can get bumpy on that other end.
Yeah.
Because it's like, unless you land the right series regular, and that lasts for at least 5 years. At least 5 years.
Look, man, money comes and goes.
Fast.
Money comes and goes. I think people get it twisted just because we make a lot of money that we end up having it. Like, yeah, we make more than the average American, but we also have way more overhead. We end up having way more overhead than the average American and stuff like that.
And what they don't factor in too is we don't always do it every day.
Yeah.
Like, people with jobs, like, you got paid time off. You got, don't get me wrong,
that job gonna be there where you're right, 9 to 5 every day.
Every day. It doesn't matter. You have all these, like, benefits to working in that infrastructure. Whereas we'll make more per hour, but then
If you break it down, yeah.
Sure. What a great day. And then I'll see.
Like,
we'll see.
What a great season. Season really lasts like what, 6 months?
Yeah, exactly. And that's if you're doing network.
Yeah, network TV shows, it takes half a year to film. You
Yeah.
film all of it in half a year.
But if you're doing cable, you might only be working about 3 months. And if you're not in every episode,
and you better be good with your
money?
money.
Facts.
You better be good with your money.
Because think about this. Say you're on a show, you're recurring. You end up making $300,000 that year. Let's just say. I don't want to factor in how much per episode that would be, but
Sure.
$300,000 per year. By the time you pay your agent and taxes
And manager.
it's
20% off cut.
off rip.
Off the rip. And then another minimum,
So
another 20% for taxes.
Yeah.
If you're smart. Because if you're not smart, then you're paying 40.
You're paying 40
off top.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And most people, if you're new to
the game, you're paying 40.
You're paying 40. So then, in theory, you walking away with like what, 130? Which is like, don't get me wrong, still very good. But like
nowadays, man, you saw that TikTok that was going around. It's middle class.
Yeah, which is crazy.
6 figures is middle class.
Yeah.
Six figures nowadays is middle class.
Especially if you live in Miami, LA, New York.
You're not poor.
Yeah.
But you ain't
Yeah, you're not.
You ain't balling.
Not at all.
No, way far from balling.
And don't have like responsibilities.
Yeah,
kids,
no way. No way. Absolutely no way. Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah, man. I don't think. I mean, most people don't know that about this industry just because. Why would they? They think everybody's a millionaire in this industry, and yeah, we get paid good, but we're also like way closer to middle class. The bulk of us are closer to middle class than we are to like the top percentage.
Yeah, and most of the time, people, like you said, don't get it out the gate. So if you don't get it out the gate, you've struggled for
100%.
Shit,
15
of your 20 of your adult years, and then opportunities. Hopefully, if things work out, opportunities start coming your way or raining your way. So then, yeah,
you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
To.
All that to say, you gotta love it because if you definitely see yourself doing something else,
might want to go check that out.
You might want to go check that out because you're gonna have a lot of sleepless nights on this end. And to have a lot of sleepless nights for something that you don't love to do.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's good. No. Yeah, no. There's an element of crazy to us that do this because, man, like we literally, I mean, part of the job is just going into another room. Now it's just filming yourself, but like it used to be going into another room, and you're gonna be probably told no,
right? And
that was.
Thanks for coming in.
How many no's would you hear before you hear yes?
Bruh.
A lot.
Solid 40, 50, 100. Who knows? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So,
like, it's rare, just so people understand. I don't think I've ever had somebody tell me a story of them booking, like, 3 things back to back to back.
What?
That's what I'm saying. Like that. Like, just so people understand, that doesn't really
Maybe
happen.
If they're booking like a commercial, a voiceover, and then like a guest.
Yeah,
like,
there you go. That's
I can believe that.
I believe that. But I've never heard of somebody
like 3
booking
shows
a movie.
back to back to back. Nah, fam.
No. And if you was just on a show, unless you were the star of said show,
yeah, that's different.
I don't think you're just popping on another show.
No.
Yeah,
it don't work like that.
It does not.
Does not work like that.
So what do you want to work on next?
Dude,
like,
I think ideally, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to get some stuff produced.
Okay.
I think that's the goal. You know, I feel like a lot of the times, like, you know, people have different goals in this industry, you know. For a lot of the time, my goal was just, hey, I kind of just want to live off of acting.
Right.
Just aim small, miss small. That's
right.
it. Just keep it like bare bones. I want to cover my expenses off of this. Cool. Thank God I'm at a point where I can do that now. And so I've transitioned my goals into, hey, I kind of just want to work with my friends.
Yeah.
I kind of want to work and create with my friends. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. But nonetheless, it's still the goal.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if you look at any of the people, any of the A-listers that are doing it big right now, most of the times they kind of just like working with people that they know, that they mess with, their friends, you know?
Yeah. It just takes that one guy to be the, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah.
I need you to show up. I need you to show. Okay, but it's the putting the project together. It's the writing.
Yeah, it's the writing. It's just getting the funding, getting the studio to believe in you, getting produced and stuff like that, and then getting a buyer. But yeah, I think that's the next goal. Honestly,
Fire.
I know that's the next goal. So I got some stuff coming up that are promising. But yeah, man, that's really just the next chapter in my life. Just work with my friends and people I fuck with. That's it, man.
Yeah, man.
And make some money together, man.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's the dream.
It's always harder to do it on your own and figure that out. But once you do, Mark Wahlberg is having a beautiful life.
He's got to figure it out.
He figured it out.
100%.
I feel like a lot of people don't realize the value in producing. You know what I mean?
That's where the money is.
That's where the money actually is.
That's where the money is. That's where the ownership is.
You're putting things together. You're putting a lot of pieces together.
That's not where the fame is. So if you're looking for fame, that's not where it's at.
No.
But like, dude, honestly, man, fuck fame.
Well, also you have a phone. Like, that's the other thing, too. Like, back in the day, there was one way to get famous.
Yeah.
You had to be on the television. That was the way.
Yeah.
Or if you're not on the TV or you're not in the movie,
That's it.
I don't know. You're not in the magazine. You're not a model. I don't know. Now it's like you have a phone. So even if you can make great business deals and then make a TikTok or two over here doing something,
blow up.
You can figure out how to get famous. Like, that's not the hardest. I'm not saying it's not hard, but I will say it's not. You ain't got to go all the way into this industry to do it.
No,
There's
you're right.
Way
it's a lot
better
easier.
ways.
It's a lot easier.
Way better ways to get famous.
Yeah.
You could not learn a skill, be on the internet, just dancing around, doing whatever the fuck.
Fame is just one of those things that I've never chased.
Mm-hmm.
I've never like consciously made an effort to chase, just because it doesn't. To me, I don't find an intrinsic value to it.
Mm-hmm.
I much just prefer to do the work and just get paid for the work. You know.
Right.
I'm also just not good at like any of the social media stuff, so it's not something that terribly interests me.
Right.
But shout out to the people that do, like you on there, man. You killing it.
I was telling
you
my
be
friends,
doing brand deals. You be working with Got Milk. You be doing with everybody, man.
Listen, man.
I didn't even know they were still a thing as Got Milk. I was you put me on. I was like, oh, they're still around.
They moving.
Shit. Damn. I was like, all right.
I'm
get
telling
a bag,
you, though,
maestro.
I'm trying, man. It's because that's not. I never was really that guy either, though, bro.
Yeah.
I just, once again,
good at it, though.
I saw the self-checkout.
Yeah.
And I said,
The robot is coming.
Okay.
They're coming. Let me get this back.
I think that's the thing. I think we're moving into a era where, like, your brand, your trademark, that's going to be the thing that sets people apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to be. It's not like back in the day.
It's gonna be your IP.
Yeah, back in the day, people just wanted to hear music. Then we got to the age where, like, people like Drake and stuff now. In the future, it'll be like, no, like, there's, like, Beyonce, and then there's all the other music.
Yeah.
But we like this brand of music. There's Taylor Swift, and then because we'll have technology and a lot of that stuff. So you have to be some kind of personality, I feel, because even look at actors. Yes, Samuel L. Jackson is a fantastic actor, but boy, in every performance was a personality.
Yeah,
Denzel Washington, he makes certain Denzel faces.
Yeah.
Like it's top tier acting, but also mixed with some dope personality.
Yeah, some trademark.
It's trademark. That's a great way to put it. And I think that is where value will lie in the future. Just for the simple shit. I think all this AI shit gonna be happening. I think everything else the world's gonna completely change. I still think motherfuckers gonna be wearing Jordans.
I know I will. I will.
That's my point.
I didn't have them growing up, so I got to buy them now.
So
I got a couple now, brother. What you mean? Yeah, man.
What shoes did you have growing up? You had the rough ones.
LA Gear.
LA Gear. Yeah.
LA Gear. I had some Skechers. Look, man, we was poor.
No, I
was poor.
He said, "Look, man." I
was poor, man.
Had the
Payless was the spot.
Payless, Kohl's, all those spots.
The spot, man.
Bro, Marshalls,
Ross.
Bro, listen,
dude. Yes,
my parents were not. No, like I had my
yes.
clothes for when I had to go do stuff, and but it was
is
like
so cheap.
Yeah, the nicest, my nice day-to-day stuff was like Gap.
Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh,
yeah.
what? I've gotten suits out of there and went on TV with same said suits. Listen, bro, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it, bro.
No, it's so that's why, man. I used to have so much like bitterness because I couldn't buy. Not I couldn't. My parents couldn't buy me like Jordans or like the flyest Nikes. And now I'm just like, I'm just gonna buy everything I wanted as a 5-year-old.
I feel it though,
dude.
I
got all the Jordans I want.
I got all the Jordans I want.
I love them, man.
And you worked hard for them too. So, but that's the thing. You work, but you also you place value. You worked so hard. You understand the value of what you have.
Yeah.
And you understood how hard it was to even make that happen when you were a kid. Mm-hmm. And that's just like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Have you ever wondered if you would be where you are right now if you would have gotten everything you wanted as a child?
Oh no, I had no chance. I'd be
Yeah.
I'd be a shitty kid. I'll put it this way: I got a lot of stuff as a kid, but it was funny the way my dad would do it was like incentive. So it was like, all right,
sure.
you got a show, you go up there, you do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You'll get the Xbox or you'll get the whatever.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah. You got to work for it a little bit.
Because I don't understand. I'm 6. I don't 5, whatever, 7.
Yeah.
I don't understand money. So it's like you're not gonna get me with you got paid this, but he was putting that away. You know what I mean? But it was like, right, you just got paid over here, but yeah, sure, I'll buy you a PlayStation.
I think about
you know what I mean?
I think about that so often just because I have a kid now, and I'm just like, man, like I want to find that fine balance of like, yeah, I want you to have more than I did growing up, but man, there's a part of me that's like that lack of that was a little bit of fuel to the fire, and you need that.
Yeah, you do.
You need that. And so like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's all like just parenthood is just like a giant experiment. Feels like you're just kind of tweaking things all left and right. But that's one of the things that I constantly think about, man. Like, man, how much should I how much early on should I give you? Like needs versus wants, stuff like that, especially the wants, you know? Because those are the ones that you remember. Like, I remember wanting this and not having it, you know? I remember, and it's just silly stuff too. Like, my parents were my mom was very conservative and very strict, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
So I didn't go to parties till my junior year in high school. I was not allowed to go out to another person's house.
Bro, I wasn't either. But see, they keep us
Hmm.
out of some shit, man. Like as a kid, you're pissed. You're pissed.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I had by sophomore year, I already had a hand-me-down car, so I could have gone.
Right.
But it's just like, no, you're not leaving this house because it's my house and these are my rules. And as long as you live under my house, you're gonna live by my rules.
Right.
So yeah, dude, like it, like I don't know, like is it better off that way?
Like I said, I think it's
who
a balance.
It's a balance,
I think
right?
it's a
It's gotta
balance,
be.
but I also think it's the difference between I get new shoes when I want them, and I can get you the shoes when good report card.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can do it, but I can't just hand it to you because ain't nobody gonna hand you shit in this world. That's not how it works.
That's not how this works.
You know, I have those thoughts too, and I'm like, man, I don't know how I do. I think what I would do if I ever had a kid, it would be anything that you can use to either learn or do something. Like, you know what I mean? You're trying to start a hobby. You're doing, so technology. If it's a piece of technology you want, I'll probably get it. If it's I might not buy you a Switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'll buy you I might buy you an iPad if you're doing something with it. I'm not buying you an iPad to just watch your shows.
Yeah.
That's not what this is for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would always be things like that. You want a guitar, I'll buy a guitar. I have no problem buying a guitar. You're going to learn how to play this fucking guitar.
Yeah.
That's cool. But it's a skill. It's something that that will make you better in the long run. But also, when I buy it, you can't quit. That's my, like,
that's your thing, yeah.
Yeah, like, no, you can't quit. Or at least there's a minimum amount of time I expect you to, like,
to dedicate to this. Yeah.
Dedicate to this. Yeah. Like, we buy this guitar, you're doing a year. Yeah. And you're going to these rehearsals, you're going to these practices. You're going to
give it an honest shot.
If
it doesn't work out, then cool, I get it.
You
weren't musically inclined.
But
yeah.
Yeah. And then also, I don't know whose child you are because
Because
I'm very musically inclined.
Because I'm very musically inclined.
So if you don't
play
get
this damn guitar, at the very least, you're gonna play some keys on his piano.
Yeah, I can show you. I can show you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the way, because the people who make it people who make the most money, it
Yeah.
generally seems like are people who have that same factor as somebody who didn't have,
Yeah.
but they have the backing to be invested in. Those seem to be the people who make the most money.
The most, yeah.
Then the people who are right under them are usually the people who didn't have. Because
They didn't have it.
Yeah.
So that's all they wanted.
I can't, and I'm not gonna be broke again. Like they have that mentality because they know how bad that was.
Yeah.
You know, opposed to somebody who's like, it's been cool, it's whatever. Like, I'll get by.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. Like that's a very different.
It's so tricky, man. Because like, I also wonder, like, when is my child gonna realize what I do for a living, or like that we're not like terrible off, you know, like
Right.
we're middle class, you know, like what does that mean to her, you know, what is like, how is that gonna like frame her like outlook on life and stuff like that,
Well,
you know, because I was very cognizant of the fact that we didn't have much.
Right.
Like my first memory of a living place was an efficiency. And an efficiency, for those, it's a studio.
okay.
So no rooms, just like a bathroom and a kitchen and a living room. And so
Any siblings?
no.
Okay.
So my mother just partitioned like the small living room off with like a curtain,
Right.
and that was my room. But like I was very cognizant of the fact, like, oh, okay, we're not like rich, like, you know.
Right.
So like I wonder when my child is gonna be like, oh, okay, like, well, we kind of, what do we have? Like, what don't we have? You know?
Well, I think a lot of that's going to come too with, ironically, the fact that you do well and you're going to be able to put your child into, or you're going to make an effort to put your child in the best rooms and best situations. Ironically, hopefully, you're the broke person in the room.
I know, right?
And so they're like,
yeah,
it's like,
like,
why
bruh.
can't, like at 15, like,
Yeah.
why can't I get a Chanel bag? And it's like, wait,
Whoa.
Well,
How do you even know what that is?
her dad bought it. Her dad owns Disney.
Don't care.
Like,
Don't care. No how.
yeah, like, but I feel like that's the right schooling,
Dude,
right places.
I've had this argument with a friend, a really close friend of mine. Do you think you're gonna put your kids in private or public school?
Private, 1,000,000,000%, but
Really?
later. I'm not gonna start them there. I'm gonna put my kids.
Okay,
in.
run me through that.
So my thought
Run me through that
process is, because I this is what I had. So, and also I was homeschooled a bit too. So I think actually it might be that a mix of homeschooling in the early, in the beginning. Then when they hit, you know, 3rd grade, 4th grade, you put them in a very good but public school.
Okay.
And then after putting them in that public school, when they start high school, you put them in that good private school. It's going to set them up with the, you know, oh, you got the letters of, I mean, not that they might not even be in college, but letters of recommendation and blah, blah, blah. And they got this program because if you're going to live out here, $40,000 a year for 18 years is just, I mean, that's a lot of money. Also, I don't believe that I would want some of these institutions teaching them everything from square one.
Sure.
So
I get that.
Yeah, it would be. I would feel like it would be a mixture of that, and yeah, I think it'd be a mixture of that.
I go back and forth on it, brother. I go back and forth on it, just like, because there's a lot of research out there that suggests early education is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you decide, like, okay, public versus private, but then, like, the good public schools are not the most accessible places. No. They're, like, you have to live, because our system is designed in the way that most of our public schools are funded by property taxes. Mm-hmm. That means it's basically hyper-focused on local. So, obviously, the good neighborhoods, because their property is so much more expensive and their value is so much higher than everybody else's, they have more tax revenue to fund the schools. Yeah. Hence, the schools are better.
Beverly Hills
So
High.
that,
Looks
right.
very nice.
So like either way, I'm going to be paying, even if not directly to an institution for the private school, I'm going to be paying because I'm going to be moving and living in a nicer part of the neighborhood, right? So yeah, so I kind of go back and forth on it, honestly, man, and just trying to gauge on that. You know, my friend was like, "No, you should start her off in a Montessori, like just let her explore." And I'm just like, "Yeah, Montessori schools are the ones that there is like no curriculum." And so you kind of the babies are just there, and the kids are just there, kind of just learning by themselves, and like exploring, and like colors, and like blocks, and just like they kind of themselves, the kids, decide on what they want to learn. There's no structure. And then I'm like, yeah, but I feel like you need a little bit of structure. And then she's like, no, you kind of just like, that's why I'm always like public. You kind of just like.
But what age? Like, what age does that stop?
The Montessori, I think it's like up until first grade.
Okay. So it's really like you're just okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's early child development.
Okay.
But there's also other schools that are private as well that just kind of just like they set a task for the day. We're gonna learn this shape, for example. You know, but there's like a specific goal in mind.
One kid building it with Play-Doh. One
exactly.
kid coloring the cube.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, like I don't know, man. It's so interesting, and it's
sounds so. It's funny, bro. I'm like, it sounds so new age.
It is.
But I don't know what
very new age.
I don't know what kids do. So I guess I went to kindergarten. So yeah, I learned. Because my parents, I didn't do preschool. They just put me right into
homeschool.
Yeah, I was homeschooled for preschool, and then I went to kindergarten, public school, kindergarten through 6th grade. Then after 6th grade, went to this one public middle school for a year.
So you didn't do private until high school?
Yeah, not until high school. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And you did private all of high school, or like
all of high school? Well, a portion because I ended up doing the wire. But if I wouldn't have gotten the wire, I would have been at that same school for freshman year.
Wow.
And so, because it's like, you're starting a new journey with some of those kids, because that school was a private school, went all the way to kindergarten.
Well, yeah. So they've been there since like
some of them kids been there a minute, and then other ones were like coming in for high school. Other ones have been there since like 8th grade, stuff like that. But it was like, bro, my graduating class was 28 kids, 30 kids.
What?
The whole high school, and middle school together. Like the whole school probably only had about 600 kids in it, 500 kids, and we're talking like all the way down to like, it's like some classes you had like 10 people.
Shoot, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
That's
But Midwest and in Chicago, like once again for the kind of school it is.
Yeah.
It's called Morgan Park Academy, but for the kind of school it is, if it were out here, it would have been unaffordable. Yeah. And I got a scholarship, so that was like help. But that was, my parents were like, oh yeah, because I was probably gonna go to a regular public high school, but I was so known in the city, and then plus after doing the wire, it was kind of like, yeah, we probably shouldn't make him, be on the south side of Chicago just in public school. It's probably not the best.
That would have been crazy, south side of Chicago.
That would have been a show in itself.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
Maestro on south side of Chicago in public school with a little bit of fame.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. Especially me at that age. That would have been crazy. Then I had a Sweet 16 too. You know how that would have looked?
Yeah, with Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, but that would have looked crazy. And like, if you're just like it would have been.
Dude, hell no.
And I was kind of an asshole back then, so it really wouldn't have been good for me.
Live and learn, brother. Live and learn.
But yeah, man. Well, listen, bro. Thank you for coming. Chopping
always
it
a
up.
pleasure, man.
This shit was fun, man.
Yeah, this is a good time.
Yeah,
bro.
you're flowing. I'm like, this guy.
It's a good one. It's a good one for sure.
Nah,
bro.
I appreciate you, man. I'm excited for all the stuff you got coming.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And congratulations
Thank
on
you.
fatherhood, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
But until next time, we out. Peace.